So hello everyone and welcome to the exciting world of educational technologies. Warm greetings from Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania. My name is Andrius Milinavičius and it will be my absolute pleasure to be your host for this amazing 6 days open hackathon. So what is that we want to hack, you may ask, and basically everyone and everything. Because the true facts are pretty disappointing. Due to the global pandemic, many industries suffered turbulent times. We know that, right? But education was the industry that suffered, on our point of view, the most. In Lithuania alone, 1/3 of the students had impaired results in distance learning. Also, 1,000+ teachers consider leaving their occupation. At the same time, on the other side, growing demand towards the digital solutions opened up the new horizons and new opportunities. VR, AR are here for a while. It's not something very new, but do we even know how to use them? For example, in education, do we have ready solutions? Can we apply them today or maybe tomorrow? Or can these solutions be a part of sustainable development future, you may ask? That are the questions we will try to solve. Vilnius University Business School teamed up with Western Union Lietuva to welcome you to the unique education technology event, EdTech Hackathon 2021, to solve hybrid and blended learning challenges. EdTech Hackathon is a continuous event that was first introduced in 2019. You do remember those times, right? And it is my pleasure to announce that this year EdTech Hackathon grew even bigger. Not only we will invite the developers and bright-minded individuals to build world-changing solutions for 6 days, we open up a platform to share ideas even further with our amazing speakers and panelists. You will be invited to 4 unique evening events full of keynote speeches and discussions. The speakers will be showcasing various solutions and deep diving in these topics. The future of technologies of education, the trends of EdTech in Lithuania and globally, hybrid and blended learning, tips and tricks, and of course, last but not least, the future of work. And I would like to spend, at this point, I'd like to spend a moment to thank events partners and sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, without you, this event wouldn't be possible. Everyone, give it up for our main sponsor, Western Union Lithuania. Also, Transcom, Guidehouse, City of Vilnius, Vilnius Educational Improvement Center, Sunrise Valley Science and Technology Park, EdTech Lithuania, Startup Lithuania, Vilnius University Hub, and our communication partner, 15 Minutes. I have so much more to share with you today, but without any further ado, let's start our event with the welcome speeches delivered to you. And allow me to invite our first presenter, Vice President of Operations and a Managing Director at Western Union Lithuania, Jūratė Stanišauskienė. Jūratė, over to you.
Thank you very much and good evening to dear education and innovation enthusiasts. It is my pleasure to open up the EdTech Hackathon 2021. I'm sure that you have brought your best ideas to solve the education challenges in the upcoming days. You will definitely need some inspiration, so I'm glad that more than 5 of my colleagues from Western Union Lithuania will be joining other industry experts as mentors and speakers. They are going to share real-life case studies of what works in the ever-changing world. At Western Union, we believe that the best solutions are born in collaboration mode. So this blend of experiences from public and private sectors should be a gold mine of EdTech ideas. And if I had to pick only one piece of advice to give your teams, it would be to step away from the business-as-usual mindset. I come from a company that is 170 years old. It would not be here today if not innovating every day. For example, during pandemic, we had some places in the world where we needed to figure out how we could do home delivery of cash. Delivering cash is different from delivering pizza, as you can imagine, since there are many regulatory and security items to consider. Yet, we were able to very quickly figure out how we could deliver cash in Sri Lanka or Nepal or Jordan and some other places across the globe. And this is just one example. And this example demonstrates how the new reality requires adaptability and innovative ways of thinking. Business and education sectors are facing challenges that require our joint efforts for solutions. Bringing together expertise, experience, and positive energy is the best way to start creating the new future today. So I wish the best of luck to the hackathon participants and all the contributors. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words, Mrs. Jūratė. And now let's invite on our virtual stage to say a couple of words, the Mayor of Vilnius, Remigijus Šimašius.
Sveiki, visi švietimo inovatoriai susirinkę į mūsų EdTech Hackathoną. Mums švietimas tai yra daugiau negu tik tai mokymas, o švietimo inovacijos yra daugiau negu mokytojo išlindimas iš už stalo ir atsistojimas prieš moksleivius ir su moksleiviais. Mes norime ieškoti naujų idėjų, kurios būtų iš kojų verčiančios, kurios būtų įdomios, kurios įtrauktų ir mokytojus, ir moksleivius į iššaukiantį ir be galo įdomų nuotykį. Darome daugybę iniciatyvų, kad taip įvyktų, bet idėjų reikia dar daugiau, dar įdomesnių. Mūsų tikslas, kad mūsų vaikai užaugtų laisvės, kūrybingos, ateičiai pasiruošusios asmenybės. Kad tai įvyktų, pasiūlykite savo idėjas, o jau mes jas mielai įgyvendinsim. Ačiū Jums ir kuo didžiausios sėkmės.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And now I'd like to invite Dr. Artūras Vasiliauskas, Prorector for Partnerships at the Vilniaus University, also to say a welcome speech.
Hello, I'm absolutely delighted on behalf of Vilnius University to welcome you at the EdTech Hackathon 2021. I'm especially delighted that this event is supported by Western Union, our business partner, and we really want to continue our partnerships with businesses, which is important to keep university in the real world so that the practices of and ideas they sort of share together. And this event is actually the example of that very interesting cooperation between different areas, between different people, and between different professionals. And of course, the topic of this hackathon, the education, and a special focus on hybrid and blended learning, is very, very topical issue at this time. And I hope that the enthusiasm of people who will participate in this event, their wish to offer ideas, to suggest solutions, will really push ahead our agenda in education in Lithuania, and it'll give examples to other countries as well. I would like also to thank you all participants who are joining this event. I think you will benefit enormously from it because it's very international. It offers a lot of interesting content and most importantly of all, it offers an opportunity to produce very concrete ideas for policymakers, for businesses, for all kinds of professionals who are involved in education. So I wish you very, very good 6 days, very intensive days, and please participate, please contribute your ideas, and most importantly, please enjoy the event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Artūras, for your kind words. And now, everyone, let's hear out the people that do have a thing to share with us. Now we will hear 4 short keynote speeches delivered to you by truly inspiring personas. Please welcome the first one, Peter Kazickas, purpose-minded entrepreneur, speaker, mentor with the keynote speech on building with purpose. scalable, sustainable, and socially impactful.
Hi, hey everybody. All right, glad I got this, the technology part of this working. I hope that you can hear me fine and that I don't run into any tech issues. I've actually never used this video streaming platform before. So I'm excited for, for this new learning opportunity for myself, but more importantly, to speak to you all, to share some of the work that we're doing at Uncommon, and hopefully to inspire you as entrepreneurs and creators and hackers and EdTech enthusiasts to think about purpose and impact and meaning as you build these amazing solutions. So before I get into what Uncommon does and who I am, I just wanted to thank Vytenis and the entire team that's putting on this amazing event. Thank all the participants that are joining in on this hackathon and everybody that might be tuning in and listening. Again, I'm just so grateful to share a bit about what we're doing at uncommon.org and hopefully inspire a few people along the way. So I'm the CEO of Uncommon. We are an EdTech nonprofit. Right now, we're based exclusively in Zimbabwe, but we will be piloting a program in Lithuania in 2022, which we're super excited about. Yeah, couldn't be more excited for that, and hopefully to combine these two communities and really do some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, our goal is to build a generation of purpose-minded, tech-savvy, entrepreneurial young adults. And hopefully that mission resonates with a lot of you out there listening to this talk and also participating in this hackathon. Really, I think you guys are the people that are going to be shaping the future, and we're just excited to be a part of this and to share our story. Before I get into what we do and how we do it and a bit of challenges that I have for you all, I just want to share a quick video of one of our beneficiaries so you do get a better sense of the type of impact that we're having.
My name is Tanya Danyamsa, and I am from a small town in Zimbabwe. I first learned about uncommon.org when I was 16. Though I knew nothing about technology, I was curious and decided to join. Before long, I fell in love. I got so good that I was even invited to New York City for a summer with girls who called. But a few months before traveling, just before turning 17, I found out that I was pregnant. Many people thought that this was where my story would end. But really, this was only just the beginning. Today, I am a front-end developer at uncommon.org. I oversee the coding education across 6 of our innovation hubs, and I help train the young adults who will teach thousands of school children this year. I am a high school dropout. I am a teen mom. I am a developer. I am a believer in humanity and all that we can do. I am Uncommon.
All right, so that's a little bit about the type of impact that we're making. Tanya, you probably won't see this, but if you do, I and we are just so proud of you, and you continue to be a beacon of what Uncommon is trying to do and an inspiration to so many people. So keep up the great work. And Tanya's story, as exceptional as it is not that unique anymore in our program. We have a lot of amazing young adults that have come through our program and are doing incredible things now. So we can't wait to continue to share their stories. And check us out on Instagram or social media and follow along and support them. It goes a really long way. So back to our mission as an organization, we want to empower young adults, unemployed young adults, with the skills that they need to enter the tech workforce and the tech industry and really improve their lives in meaningful ways. At the same time that we're training and working with young adults, we're also teaching students, and I'll get into that in a second. But so we have a second goal, which is to bring the magic and the wonders of computer science to as many children as possible. And today, we've got thousands of kids that are in our after-school coding program in Zimbabwe. And it's one of my favorite parts of what we do, and that's working with the kids. And then lastly, our goal and one of our a huge part of our mission really is to build a sustainable nonprofit that makes an impact at scale. Sustainability, we believe, is a prerequisite for scalability. And we've got a lot of fun, creative ways that we're approaching our sustainability. But the goal is to build a global organization and to make sure that everyone, everywhere, regardless of race, gender, orientation, geography, class, regardless of anything, to make sure that they have equal access to technology, education, and employment opportunities. It's just so important that we have more diversity in tech and in entrepreneurship and in business. And if we do, we believe that we'll have better solutions for everybody. So it really is a win-win situation. So going into a bit of how it works, our focus is on unemployed young adults, and we run a 12-month technology boot camp for them. They start by taking crash courses in design, coding, and marketing, and then picking a track they want to specialize in. And during that specialization period is when they're matched with mentors, and they're really diving deep into the field of study that they've chosen for themselves. And our goal for them is to either hire the top talent that comes out of our program to join our team as we continue to expand, but also to help place these young adults at amazing companies that are doing amazing things, and to really help them improve not just their own lives, but their families and their communities as well. So a big part of their learning experience is teaching, as I alluded to before. Everyone in our program volunteers. It's not enough to just learn a skill for yourself. You have to give back, and giving back is a huge part of what we do at Uncommon. And it's really, it's in our DNA, and attaching everything we do to a larger mission and a greater purpose is important for what we do. So the young adults in our boot camps are also our youth coding instructors, and they are absolute role models and rock stars in the community. And more than just what they're doing for the children, they themselves, this is an amazing opportunity for growth for themselves, and to become confident and to build their own self-esteem and to know that they're making an impact in the community. It's really important for their own personal and professional development. And then a fun part of what we do as well is engage the community and our students throughout their experience. Towards the end, they build teams, marketers, coders, and designers together, and they work on solutions for local businesses and NGOs. And that's a fun way of giving them real hands-on experience, but also engaging with the community and, again, making impact into the community. So sustainability, as we've mentioned, is just paramount for everything that we do. And that starts really at a grassroots local level. Rather than extracting and pulling young adults from their communities, we believe in investing into the communities that we're serving and training there. You shouldn't have to leave your community to go find an amazing workspace and an amazing education or employment opportunity. We're trying to bring that to local communities. We are literally doing our part in regards to sustainability. When we build spaces, it's from recycled shipping containers, and we're completely off-grid at all of our hubs. So it's important to us that as an organization, we're doing our part to try to leave the world better than we found it, and really being conscious around the environmental impact that we're having. And again, everything that we do for the individuals should benefit more than just the individual. So everyone in our program is constantly giving back, and that's just a huge part of what we do, trying to hammer home this purpose about being a part of Uncommon. So in addition to all of that, what we believe really does make us Uncommon is our business model. And that's where I think this conversation gets interesting. We see impact as an extraordinary differentiator, not just for us, but for companies all over the world. And our challenge as an organization is to combine the best practices of the for-profit and nonprofit sectors to really build an impactful and sustainable and scalable organization. So one example of that is the recent business team that we've launched, where we've hired a lot of our graduates to join and to start a business within the nonprofit that's offering these services, design, development, and marketing. And our differentiator amongst our competitors is that when you choose us, all of the profit is used to fund this education mission. So we really believe that as we improve and when time to deliver, quality, and price are all the same as our competitors, that it'll be a no-brainer. Why not choose the organization that's using the money for good to make an impact? But as a nonprofit, we also have other business ideas that we're exploring. One popular one amongst boot camps is the income sharing agreement, and also just the revenue opportunity there is in regards to placing talent. So that's something that we're looking into. And one thing that we've done already is partner with corporates to brand our innovation hubs. When containers come to us, they're branded already. We make them beautiful, we make them sustainable and fun. Why not brand them again? And we've had some success there with branding for local companies. And we see this as a great way for companies to attach their brand to really meaningful impact in fast-moving, high-density markets where maybe they weren't already. So not only are the physical spaces branded, but all of the students that come through our programs, they'll graduate with certificates and diplomas saying, XYZ company paid for your coding education or your design education. And then also we've got a few products in the pipeline, which I can't get into now, but we're extremely excited about, and they'll employ the same business model that we have as a nonprofit, which is being competitive against for-profit companies, but using the revenue that we earn and investing it entirely into our EdTech mission, into making sure that everyone everywhere has access to high-quality tech education and employment opportunities. So this sort of gets into the heart of what we're doing, this idea of a purpose economy. And I think that that's absolutely where we're moving and where we are. It's hard now to buy a pair of shoes that aren't made from sustainable or recycled materials. Tom's was a company early on that took this one-for-one business model. If you buy a pair of shoes, we'll donate a pair. The rise of impact investing is clear. ESGs is everywhere now. So it's becoming clear that our generation, the younger generation, is almost prioritizing that impact be a part of a company's business model. And we're just so excited about that. And it's so cool that the market is talking and the market wants impact. And the data backs it up. I read a stat the other day. I think it was about 90% of consumers would switch brands if they knew that one was more impactful than the other, assuming that the experience of the product was similar. And also, especially in more mature economies, an increase in income after a certain extent does not correlate with an increase in happiness. Employees are starting to look much more towards purpose and meaning. And we spend 8 hours a day working. That's half of our waking hours, a third of our lives. What's the purpose? What is the meaning of what we're doing? What's the impact and the legacy that I'll have? So the challenge is, or the goal is to align purpose and meaning and impact with people's skills and passions. So that's what we're trying to do at Uncommon, and that's what I encourage you all to do as well. And there's no good answer, no easy answer to how do you find out what your why is, but it's a question we should all be constantly asking ourselves. What is my why? Why are you here today? Why are you trying to build an EdTech solution? Is it just to make a lot of money, or is it to make a lot of impact? When the going gets tough, as it inevitably does in an entrepreneur's journey, will what you're doing still matter to you, and will it be worth it? Is the purpose paramount to the mission? So think about this question. What is your why? Why are you here? What are you trying to build? And what's the purpose behind it? I think that's crucial as we move into this purpose economy, and to just helping you find meaning from your work and your entrepreneurial endeavors. So I'll just end this talk with a few challenges as you go into this awesome experience of brainstorming and designing and collaborating and building what will be, the next great idea of our generation, of our time. Can you design something that is both financially viable, but also good for humanity and environmentally conscious? We are not at all at Uncommon anti-capitalist. We want to use the best of capitalism and the nonprofit space to make something truly incredible. But the challenge is, how do you put impact as a priority and at the core of what you do? Not just profit maximization. We believe that's the business model of the future. So what do you think? Can you make impact the catalyst for your own scalability and your own business success? And then finally, can you build a company or a team where people love to work? That's sort of the ultimate sign. And as I alluded to before, it's not just about salaries. People want to know that they're being valued, that their contributions are making an impact in society, a positive impact. So can you create an edtech or a company that is purposeful and where people love to work? And I believe that absolutely you can. And I'm excited to see what you do and where you go with your ideas and what comes of this hackathon. Please, if you want to get in touch, you can reach me here, on LinkedIn or at my email anytime. I'm excited to hear from you, and I'm excited to see where you go. I hope you found this talk valuable, or at least interesting, and I hope you feel challenged and inspired to build something that matters and that makes a big impact in the world. We'll all be better off because of it. So thank you very much for your time, and good luck the rest of the way. Thank you.
So thank you so much for your ideas, Peter. And there, everyone, we do have a Peter connecting live from Zimbabwe, which is a very uncommon thing to have a person connecting from so far. So Peter, do you hear us well? So how is it going? I have a feeling this connection is experiencing some hiccups. Am I right? Yeah, we lost Peter. No worries. We were expecting this to happen. So dear everyone, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's not wait a single moment. Yeah, I do see that Peter is still experiencing. Peter, you're here.
I can't believe that. I mean, we joked around earlier that we might run into power issues, and within seconds of needing to come on, everything cuts. So I apologize.
I just said, like, yeah, absolutely. I just said, like, Peter, I love the joke, but I'm not joking here. Okay, I'm so happy to have you here and to still have you live connected to us. And Peter, we were having a lot of people watching your presentation, and we do have a few questions, if I may ask. The first question is, Peter is expanding business to Lithuania. Tell us more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's something that we are very excited about. Our goal is to pilot Uncommon in March in Panevėžys. Of course, a lot of work has to go into making that successful, and we're working hard now to do that. But it's something that we're very excited about, a little nervous about naturally, but the challenge is going to be well worth it. And I believe we can pull it off. And I just can't wait to get started in Lithuania.
Thank you for that. And second question, purpose economy-driven business market in Lithuania versus Zimbabwe. What would be your thoughts on this?
That's an interesting question. You know, I think Lithuania, while it's still a growing market, is, oh, here comes the power, wonderful, is a much more mature economy and a mature environment than in Zimbabwe. But I think in both countries, this idea of purpose is still pretty new, and corporate philanthropy is not as developed as it is in some other parts of the world. But I think that we're all the same, no matter where you go. If it's New York, Zimbabwe, Lithuania, inside, I believe that we're all pretty much the same. And I think everybody gets intrinsically the value of making impact and purpose part of your business. And it's just clear to me that it's happening. And you can see it with the big banks and the corporates and their ESGs, but also with the small startups that are making donating or supporting local initiatives part of their business model. So I think it's a very, it's still a new space everywhere, but I think it's growing, and that's not just, that's in Zimbabwe as much as it is in Lithuania. So I'm excited to get a chance to hopefully help push this purpose economy along further in both Lithuania and Zimbabwe. But we're certainly not the only ones.
Amazing. People, planet, profit, right? And can we actually make a real impact and not just on the papers, on the reports? That's a very good idea as you shared there, Peter. And thank you once again. Thank you so much for that. And maybe just before you leave, what would be your one piece of advice for the teams that will be working for 6 straight days until they will have something to present on Sunday? What would be that?
Yeah, be fearless. Don't be afraid. Don't attach your sense of self-worth or self-esteem to your ideas. This is an opportunity to be creative and to challenge the norms, think outside of the box. And remember that, if it doesn't work, that doesn't mean anything about you and your value as a person. So I think be bold, take this opportunity to really try to push the limits here and see what you can come up with. You're in an environment with a lot of people being creative. Go crazy. So that's my advice, and best of luck to everybody. It's such a cool experience.
Thank you so much, Peter, and good luck with electricity. Hopefully you can order a pizza at night if you can't prepare yourself some meal. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Peter Kazickas with the keynote speech, Building with Purpose, Scalable, Sustainable, and Socially Impactful. Let's move on to our next presentation. And with this, I'd like to invite already 2 people that would like to prepare a very interesting keynote speech. So with a round of virtual applause, let's invite on our virtual stage Adrian Muller and Anna Cernus from Western Union Lithuania with their speech on unlocking your potential. Guys, hello, do you hear me well?
Hi, Andrew. Yes, we can hear you well. Thank you very much for the introduction. And we would like to start our presentation actually with a question to you.
Okay, that's unexpected. Shoot.
All right, let me just allow Adrian to share our slides because you need to see something in order to be able to answer our question.
Yes, and can you see our screen?
Yes, perfectly.
Wonderful.
Superb. So I think we can get started then. Okay, so our question, Andrew, is what do you think? What's on these drawings?
Should I tell the truth?
Of course, go ahead.
It's a masterpiece that it will be sold as an NFT in some 100 years after the painter will be dead.
Oh, I think our learners would find this very flattering. Thank you very much for sharing this. And what you can see on the pictures, now I can reveal, our learners, our employees were asked to reflect on how they felt about learning at Western Union before the pandemic. That's what you can see on the left. And then during the pandemic on the right. And what I wanted to show you with this is how different these 2 environments are. And we could say a lot about these pictures, but today what I'm trying to focus on is talk a bit about how the environment has changed, how learners' roles have changed, and then how our trainers' roles have changed and how they adapted to this new environment. So speaking of the environment, a question to you, Adrian. As a learner yourself and as an employee of Western Union, can you tell us a bit about how the environment has changed, our learning environment at Western Union?
Sure, Anna, and thanks so much for the invitation and being here. And I agree with you, those drawings were just incredible. And, I worked for this company for quite many years. And although a big part of the department I work with is somewhere else in the world, not here in Lithuania, I've always had these virtual meetings, but I have noticed how much I miss going to the office. I'm always at home, right? And I have missed that part of socializing at work, building better business relationships with peers, with other colleagues, those nice inevitable breaks to take me away from my desk. Those things are not happening. And working from home has been quite challenging in my life because of having to work longer hours. It's harder to separate my time from work and from home, right? Obviously, and so it's definitely been an interesting situation. I also have had to invite people virtually in my place. And I do have a pet. I have a cat who has become kind of a celebrity with my team members because he tends to jump over here on my laptop, and it's kind of funny, but at some points have been a bit stressful. So I've learned to be more careful and quicker on locking my computer, saving documents before my cat would decide to edit them. So there's many distractions. There are difficult situations. Sometimes you may have a more monotonous type of work, particularly when you are learning, receiving a training, or any type of an additional information you need to receive, or when you are teaching. And so it is interesting to figure out now, how do we cope with these matters, and what have we learned with this new normal, so to speak. So Anna, I will have to turn it back to you. And we want to ask you, what do you think, how learners' roles have changed in this environment?
Right, so you are right, Adrian. We've been experiencing a lot of change in learners' roles, and I'd like to focus on 3 concepts to describe my experiences. Because besides being a trainer at Western Union, I've also experienced learning here. And the first concept I wanted to focus on was empowerment. I think it's a significant change that we trust more and control less in our trainings. Now, what do I mean by that? For instance, when we take or prepare for assessments, we allow our learners to have more say in the process of preparation. And it's very interesting how, learners become empowered to make decisions about their own learning process. So for instance, whereas before the pandemic, when we would prepare for an assessment, we would have a set of activities, Q&A sessions, trainers would provide individual support to learners in the classroom if it was needed. When we went all online, we had to come to our learners and ask, what did you need? How can we facilitate? How can we, address your needs? And, it was all very different for different learners. So some learners were more autonomous. They wanted to just revise silently all the theory we looked through or all the practice we had. Some of the learners started up little study groups within the training before the assessment, and we had separate breakout rooms set up for them. And they made these decisions with the trainers, but they were much more involved in the process of decision making.
Understood. Empowering is such a nice word, right? And it's a cool word to have.
Indeed.
So, what is the downside, right? I'll see the learner being more independent, but are there more responsibilities on the learner side now with this different setting?
Indeed, Adrian, I would say that trust, always comes with responsibility. And especially when we have a lot of trainings around, for instance, compliance and regulations, with trusting learners, we also had to give them more responsibilities, and they had to take on more responsibilities. And there were many instances, where we wouldn't be able to, check whether they read every single document they had to. They were just then tested in the assessment, or they needed it when they started their jobs. So they had to step up and make sure that they complete every step of the learning process, even if it happened offline, even if it happened in their self-study time. And what we saw was that for some learners, this was more difficult. Some learners required more support from us, reached out to us more often. Whereas for some learners, this was easy, and they even did more than expected. They often ended up, for instance, tutoring their own colleagues and meeting up with them, in their self-study time. And this takes us to the third concept, involvement, which is also an interesting factor I wanted to talk about, because what I saw that involvement worked out to different learners in a very different way. We always had those more extrovert learners who in the classroom would always lead conversations, would love to, share their opinions. And what we saw that they tend to suffer the most when it comes to online learning, because, they miss company, they miss being in a group, And being on Zoom, it's really not the same for them. So as trainers, we had to think about creating more opportunities for, discussion, speaking up for them. Whereas we had those more introvert learners at the same side who didn't quite enjoy speaking up in the classroom, but all of a sudden what we saw that as they had different opportunities, such as using emojis to indicate their opinion, answering to questions that pop up, or just asking or answering questions in the chat, all of a sudden they started to participate and became much more involved.
That's wonderful, Anna. And it's interesting how these other means of communication have helped other people that are a bit more shy to actually communicate and ask questions and be more interactive in the process. Now, we have looked at the learners' side, but we need to talk about the trainers' roles as well, right? So how have the trainers' roles changed, right? And what can trainers or teachers, professors do to adapt for this?
Right, so definitely, again, there were significant changes, and I try to summarize them again, following our structure in 3 main concepts. And one of the things we really had to learn is plan. And when I talk about planning, the first step would be leaving the so-called classroom or training room mindset behind. What would this mean? Well, at the beginning of the pandemic, as we had very little experience of training online, we quite often tried to use the same activities, the same training structure that we were used to before the pandemic, and kind of force this on the online environment. And what I can tell you was that it was most of the time a failure, and we've learned a lot from it. And what we realized was that we had to look at the training content we had with fresh eyes and think, how can we create activities that would actually create more involvement, more engagement? How can we present the material in a way online that learners could actually have practical experiences, but at the same time get the theory they needed? And I would say that in order to create these opportunities, we had to up our game in tech, which meant, spending time learning all the functionalities of Zoom, looking for different applications to create boards where we could interact with the students, or where we could, have discussions or share images or create charts. So we really had to spend a lot of time with that. And another thing when it comes to planning was planning for Zoom fatigue. And this was the hardest, I think, at the beginning, because as trainers, we would just expect learners to, listen to our monologues sometimes at the beginning of this process. And we soon realized that that will not work, definitely not over an hour. So we started to look for fun, sometimes pretty silly activities. And one of them I wanted to share with you, which was a big success, was an activity which was, we found it online and it was really easy. Trainers would start with giving an instruction such as grab something red or grab a spoon. And, all trainees would have to run, the trainer as well. And the first person who managed to grab it from their apartment and bring it and show it to us would give the next instruction. And what I wanted to illustrate with this, that, seemingly silly games like this really created a pleasant atmosphere, really created some fun and some movement in our trainings.
Thanks, Anna. And planning is great, and all these different options and suggestions you have, I think, are fantastic. But we know things can happen, right? And there'll be unexpected situations, and not everything goes according to the plan, as we have learned while living in this world. So, how do you respond to unexpected situations during a training process?
Yes, that's the other part. So responding is also really important for trainers, to respond on time. And, we had this kind of a funny story at the beginning of the pandemic where I was delivering a compliance training and we went on a break with my group. And I also went to get a coffee. And when I came back, I just looked at my learners' faces and I could immediately tell that something was off. And turned out later that what happened in the break, that one of my students forgot to mute her microphone, and she had an argument with her partner, and it was all online, So, these are the types of unexpected situations when trainees are allowing us in that personal life, and kind of we allow them in our personal life to a certain extent through Zoom. So it's always a question how you manage these situations. And in this particular case, it was a good lesson for me to learn, Zoom functionalities, such as you can mute all your participants whilst you are on a break, which is immensely helpful when it comes to these situations. And also having a one-on-one with the trainee to make sure that she was okay, to talk about whether she needed any support. And I think in the end it all worked out, and we managed to resolve the situation. But I would just say it's really important to react to these things very quickly and really pay attention to how your learners behave and how they respond to certain things in the classroom.
Excellent. Thanks, Anna. That's really important. And I can take an example very recent that everybody saw with the previous speaker, right? He had some technical difficulties, but it went so smoothly once he got back in and everybody kept it calm. So always plan for these unexpected things. Totally agree. Now, so planning, responding, Anna, what recommendations do you have for trainers and teachers, professors to improve their practices?
I would say the most important of it all is reflection. So I'd like to invite everyone, every trainer, every educator to keep reflecting and have reflective practices. So for instance, for myself, how they started at the beginning of the pandemic was thinking back how I used to learn trainings and deliver trainings when I was a novice teacher. And in my case, the method was really easy. After every lesson or every training I would deliver, I would just have a short kind of diary note for myself to note down what went well and what could be improved. And these little conversations, so-called with myself, really helped me to improve my practices and really helped me to see, what could I do better and what works. But then what was even more helpful than this is creating a conversation with my peers, my fellow trainers. And, when something really didn't work or something worked really well, just jumping on a call with all the other trainers and sharing these tips and tricks. So talking about, just as an example, I remember when we first used breakout rooms, we would all jump on a call, try it out. Oh my goodness, it's not working. How do I enter? Why can't I hear others? Why my message doesn't pop up? So trying these out and learn together with fellow trainers, I think that helps a lot, and reflect on our practices together.
Thank you so very much, Anna. And just to get closure of our discussion today, right? There are some key takeaways, right? Consider this new environment, a hybrid learning, right? Look at things, take best practices from different forums that you may have. Second, cater for learning needs, right? Look at it's important that our job is to help learners acquire knowledge they need for succeed in their job functions, right? And hybrid classroom, we must think about everyone, not only people that may be present on a class, but also that would be virtually on a class. And lastly, reflect and collaborate. That was Anna's last point, and I do believe it's really important. Once you're done on a training, just get back and think, what went well, what could have been better, and learn from your own experiences and from your peers. And with that, Anna, I think we are wrapping up our presentation. And thank everybody for your time today and for this great opportunity for having us today here.
Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you, Adrian and Anna. Thank you for sharing your ideas. And we do have a few questions that I'd like to highlight. Learners' role. Should learners use cameras during the long hours of studies and classes? What would be the perfect algorithm for both learners and teachers? What would be your thoughts on this?
I think I can take this one, Adrian. My opinion is that I try to encourage learners to turn their cameras on. But of course, as you mentioned, trainings can be pretty long. So I think it's also really important to deal with Zoom fatigue and give that time for learners to switch their camera off and do something, without having to show their face and be present that way. So for instance, what I would do is when we have conversations, I would ask them to turn their cameras on. But let's say I would give them self-study time during the day where they could turn it off so they can have a little rest.
Okay, or turn on some web game, yeah, right, to just to chill a bit and to release the tension. Okay, I'm joking. Another question that is pretty interesting from my point of view is majority of parents speak about the attention issues, or let's say interest issues from the kids or with the kids, right? And the question is, how can you fight with Netflix and other entertainments on the screens versus reading books?
Right. Adrian, would you like to comment as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. I wish I would have a really good answer to it. I think, if there's a possibility to balance things out, right, and, showing younger generations that there's great value in a book, right, there can be a lot of enjoyment out of them. But I think it's by leading by example. Maybe don't watch as much Netflix for you as a parent, right, or to try to have those moments with your children to show them how interesting is reading. I don't know. I think that's my recommendation. And while you are in the learning environment, there may be ways to, making sure that certain applications that are not available, so there you prevent certain distractions, right, and switch them on, having an on and off time there. And I believe it is really important with these practices that Anna was mentioning when providing a training overall, that it's as dynamic as it can be. You have time to turn off your camera, you have time to run, grab something, a game, activities, depending on the audience you'll have, right? So that'll be my thoughts on that.
Anna, something to add?
Yes, I think I can just double what Adrian's last point was, that as a trainer, looking at it from a trainer's perspective, I would try to make the training as dynamic as possible, and keeping in mind psychological research, how much children's attention span is, circle all activities and everything around that. So make sure that we have enough activities where children would need to stand up, do something, variety activities we have, and just make sure that you keep them engaged as a trainer, not just provide a monologue and give them materials, but make the training interesting and really engaging for them.
Amazing. Yeah, and I would also like to double on leading by your own example. This would be, I guess, the very good example, the very good answer to this question. Thank you so much, guys. That was Adrian Muller and Anna Ternus from Western Union Lithuania. Let's move on to our next short keynote speech, and here we go. We do have a question. Will government support EdTech initiatives? That's the question Lukas Stakela, an activist and an active EdTech ecosystem member, is raising. Let's now listen to his speech. Lukas, over to you.
Hello, everyone. So, again, good evening. My name is Lukas Stakela, and I was invited here to answer, will government support tech innovation? And the answer, of course, is yes. And that would be the end of my speech, but I thought I would raise another question, which is how it will support tech innovation. And here I would add that me and my colleague Laurina Filutavaitė, with the help of Ministry of Education, Science and Sports of the Republic of Lithuania, tried to answer this question during our time in the program Create Lithuania 6 months ago, and where we managed the project fostering innovation in the education sector, developing the Lithuanian EdTech ecosystem. Oh, sorry. It's technical problems. Yep, okay. So to start with, I would like to draw an outline of what we found about the current situation in the education sector. First of all, we found out that only 44% of schools used virtual learning environments, while 40% of schools didn't use computers at all. Additionally, when, of course, COVID-19 happened, we saw a landscape shift and all schools went remote. Schools, when I say schools, I mean all educational institutions. So we saw that student achievements during COVID-19 got worse, got better, or didn't change at all. And we saw that 34% got worse, 30% nor changed nor improved, and the last part got better, which means that if we choose correct EdTech tools, we might get a better result. Talking about teachers, 56% of Lithuanian teachers feel comfortable to use ICT for teaching here in Lithuania, while 45% had ICT training, including in their formal education. And what adds to this is 86% of schools used the school management systems as the primary tool during remote learning. What this means is that, of course, we see a lack of ICT training in formal teacher training, and how we could solve it. If we could solve it, we could improve EdTech usage in schools and thus improving our students' results. Talking again about teachers, so we have a very low confidence in their competence to create digital content or tools. It is one of the lowest in the European Union. And looking at the broader picture of innovations, Lithuania is 25th among 28 European Union members, while it is 40th among 129 world countries. And the main reason why are we lagging behind is the knowledge and technology assimilation. And that is what we think is one of the main reasons why teachers don't innovate and don't use EdTech that much in the schools or other educational institutions. So concerning all these facts, there arises a problem that Lithuanian education system lacks innovation and EdTech application culture. And the reasons why it happens is because teachers lack ICT skills. There is a limited teacher involvement in innovation through co-creation, limited, sometimes none. And of course, EdTech creators have limited access to create and test their products or ideas in educational institutions. And thus, to solve this problem, we propose a solution to create a sandbox and a competence center for digital skills and EdTech, which will overlook these problems. So, talking about our project results, so the first one is, of course, this the model of the sandbox for creation and testing EdTech products or ideas. The second one is the model of the competence center. And the last one is the launch of the pilot sandbox, which is happening right now, and the launch date for the center, which the center will start working at the next year. We also agreed on the budget for the center and its place in the ecosystem. So now, of course, it arises a question that how the sandbox and the center will work. So I'll start with the sandbox. And talking about the sandbox process consists out of three parts. The first one is the preparation for testing. The second one is the testing, and the third one is the after testing part. So the preparation for testing starts the selection process of EdTech creators and educational institutions happen. After the creators are selected and the educational institutions are selected, analysis of the needs of both parties happen, which is made by the administrator of the platform. After this, planning and signing the cooperation agreement takes place, and the administrator plans the whole process of the testing, which can last up to 2 months, and they sign the cooperation agreement on the data and other kind of stuff that is needed for the testing. The second phase starts with, of course, with the testing of products and ideas in the educational institutions, and during the testing, regular meetings and feedback sessions happen during the time. Lastly, I would say that during the third phase, filling evaluation forms, final meetings and discussions happen, and of course giving feedback to other parties. Talking about the Competence Center for Digital Skills and EdTech, the Competence Center will be coordinated by Coordinating Council, which is comprised out of Government of Republic of Lithuania, the Ministry of Education, Science and Sports, the National Agency of Education, and the Agency of Science, Innovation and Technology. This governing body is governing the bigger project of EdTech, where the Competence Center is a small part of it. Additionally to this, there is an expert advisory board which started its work in September. It is comprised out of EdTech experts, IT experts, and of course people from the education sector. It will overlook the center and its activities. And of course, the center, one of the biggest chunks of the center's activities will be directed to the business sector and to the startups. That's why we see a big need for great cooperation with the EdTech Lithuanian Association. Talking about the activities of the center, the first one, of course, is to administrate the sandbox. The second one is to organize acceleration of startups and various activities concerning that. Of course, the center will consult educational institutions and provide ICT training for teachers, lecturers, or administrators of those institutions. It will. We see that the center will need to make up a strategy of digital skills for Lithuania and overlook its execution. And lastly, it will organize applied research and sharing, and will share its results. The research part will come from the sandbox, as the sandbox will collect data needed for the research, and that's a great opportunity to boost our educational research. Finally, to finalize my speech, I would like to talk about project outcomes that we see. So firstly, the center will gather knowledge, human resources to respond rapidly to innovations in EdTech and ICT, thus allowing to implement them in the education system quicker. The EdTech startups will be able to test their projects or ideas and adjust them to the needs of education system, which is the biggest problem of EdTech right now. ICT skills of teachers and lecturers will improve, which will help in ICT education and especially STEM. And incentives for educational institutions to implement EdTech in their curricula will be created, thus allowing schools, universities, or any other educational institutions to implement EdTech in their education. So that is all from me. Thank you, and I will be waiting for your questions.
Thank you so much, Lucas, for your short presentation. And what would be your one advice for the developers and all the fellow hackers that are participating this week in this hackathon?
So the greatest advice I got in the Ministry of Education and Sports, Science and Sports, was during our project, we met with one senior advisor, and she said, talk to a lot of people, they know a lot. And that is my main advice to all the hackers.
Pretty clear, short and sweet. Thank you so much for that, Lucas. And there, everyone, let's move to our last but not least presentation. And to finish this part of our event, let's invite Šarūnas Dignaitis, the CEO of the EdTech Lithuania initiative, with a presentation on #unicorn phenomenon, reimagine the role of technology in education. Šarūnas, over to you.
Hi guys, can you see me? Can you hear me well? Can you see my presentation?
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry, I think you're seeing the last slide, so I'll just quickly go back to the first one. Here we go. So Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. Congratulations to Vilniaus University Business School for doing this. My name is Šarūnas Dignaitis. I am the CEO of EdTech Lithuania. And in this presentation, I want to talk about technology and different ways that technology can help to innovate education. So I will give different Lithuanian EdTech examples, and I will talk about all the great work that they're doing in Lithuania and abroad. And hopefully with this presentation, I will encourage you to join the fast-growing EdTech community and to maybe think of an opportunity for yourself and opportunities that you can bring to the education sector. So I want to start with a story on how I tried system in Lithuania. After my studies in the UK, I came back to Lithuania, started working in an NGO, and we used to create various different educational programs for youth. We even took students to North Africa. We climbed the highest mountain in North Africa, Mount Toubkal. It's in Morocco, High Atlas Mountains. And we also were raising money for boarding schools for girls in rural Moroccan areas. So we did all these various different things, and this is when I got hooked on education. And after a few years of working with the NGO, I started working in business consulting, and I sort of suddenly felt I missed this purpose. Like Peter Kazitskas was talking about uncommon stories. So I guess I'm one of the new generation people as well, where I have to have the purpose in everything that I do. And I figured I could somehow do something good for the education system again. And I thought of this, now I think it's a weird idea, but then it sounded great, of walking around Lithuania, hiking actually, and starting from my school, from Klaipėda Gymnasium, and walking all around Lithuania clockwise. And I actually did it in 40 days. I hiked through the border of Latvia, then I hit the border of Belarus, so went all the way down, went through the border of Poland, then through border of Kaliningrad, Russia, back to Klaipėda Žemyna Gymnasium. And the whole idea was to invite everyone on media to say thank you to your teachers who are actually doing great things for us. And quite a few people joined in. And after this sort of social media thing, and after this hike, I realized that the hike is not going to change the education system, even though it was an experience of my life. On the way next to the Belarus border, I found a dog. That's the dog in the picture. She's sleeping now, but she started following me. So her name is Bella because I found her near the Belarus border. So all the things that happened to me, I try to talk about education, but hiking is not going to solve any educational system problems that we have. But I know what will. And it's the EdTech, the thing that we are gathered here to talk about. So education, as far as I understand, is made for students who finish school and are really prepared for the world that it is outside. And with the current model that we're using for a few hundred years, it was created in the Industrial Revolution times. It is not suited for the kids anymore, and we have to involve as much technology in education as possible, since the world is constantly changing, and we need to change with what's happening outside. And talking about the EdTech, the ways that we can improve education, digitalize education. So EdTech is not just the hardware that you have in the classroom. It's not just the laptop that I'm using now. It's not just the software that we also can use in the classroom. It's not the software in the computer and in your mobile, but it is the means that we use technology that can innovate education. So this is, as far as I understand, what EdTech is. And one great example, I saw it in one of the talks that was given by the CEO of EdTech Estonia. So Mart was talking about Johannes Gutenberg Press, and he was talking about how it sort of changed education. And so when we talk about innovating education, it's not just technology that we understand. We've been innovating education through technology for hundreds of years, and Gutenberg's press is a very good example of that. In 1400s it was invented, and we had printed books. Now we can have PDFs, now we can have all these different various things that technology brings us. So EdTech is basically using technology to innovate education. And it is no longer optional. There's no way out of this. We are going to use technology more and more. And this slide actually shows the rapid growth that can be seen since COVID. So we are expected to see a rise of 400 billion on global expenditure in edtechs. So more and more money is being spent on, edtechs throughout the world. It will be only about 5% of total expenditure. But when we see from the start of the COVID up till now, until 2025, I'm sorry, so it will be more than doubled in growth. So that 5% is actually quite a lot. And we already see today a very big rise in B2C edtechs, and parents and students and teachers are more and more comfortable to go and use these edtech startups. And these edtechs that we are creating, this community that's expanding so fast, it provides exponential improvement opportunities in the Lithuanian education system. So when we think about technology in education, there's another way of how we can think about this. And it looks a little bit complicated at first, but I'll quickly explain. So education technology is not just the one thing. It's an open source taxonomy for education technology. So in this slide, it's education innovation and all the edtechs. It's broken down into 50 distinct and different tiles, and there are tens of thousands of edtechs that operate within these tiles that I am showing you now. And so the edtechs could be working when we think about these vertical lines from left to right. It could, it's in knowledge and content areas. It's in managing and helping institutions to manage themselves with help of technology. It's more traditional models that decided to go online. It's new models that have been around but started to grow really fast post-COVID, like boot camps, IT academies. It's advanced technology supporting more and more like experiential learning, international education and the forms it is taking nowadays, learning support, whether for teachers, learners, or institutions, assessment and verification technologies. And then we go into last two, which is employment-based workforce and talent, and also skills and jobs. So there's just enormous amount of innovation happening around the world in education. So very happy to see that. And these are just a few of edtechs. As I mentioned, there are tens of thousands in the world working in education. So go to globallearninglandscape.org and check them out. It's pretty cool how many different edtechs we have in the world, and so many of them are actually unicorns. So a lot of them grew. It's a horrible thing to say, but thanks to pandemic, so a lot of them grew immensely for these past couple of years. So what about Lithuania? We have different edtech solutions, and now using this taxonomy, we can understand it a little bit better. So for example, Tamo is a leading education management system in Lithuanian schools. Boot camps is a very good example in new delivery models. So IT academies grew rapidly due to like digitalization and uncertainty in the job market today. We have Alpha class, Digi class in learning and support column. So it's basically tutoring, but now it is done online due to COVID. Everything went online. So now Membi, Digi class is called Membi when it's abroad, and now they're scaling to Poland and Greece. So these Lithuanian edtechs are doing really a lot in Lithuania and abroad already. And another cool thing that I want to share with you, this is Holland IQ's annual list of the 50 most promising edtech startups from Nordic and Baltic region. And last year we had 3. This year we have 6 edtech startups from Lithuania. So we have Biddegree, Turing College, Membi, Eduka, Poklet, and Teachers Lead Tech, or Vedlei, they're called in Lithuanian. So I encourage you to check them out. So these edtechs are doing a great job in Lithuania. Do get in touch with them and check them out, and they'd be very happy to talk to you. And I wanted to quickly talk about how it actually looks when we think about technology in education. So there are many edtechs, there are many different examples, but I would like to use one just to illustrate where we are today and in what sort of unique ways we can enhance education through technology. So EduCraftas, one of the members in EdTech Lithuania community, they're using Minecraft. As you can see from slides, in 2019, Minecraft was announced as an all-time most purchased game. Even more than Mario, than Tetris, whatever you play, Minecraft is the #1 game. And the brief history is that in 2009, this game was created by Mojang. So Minecraft was created by Mojang organization. 2014, Microsoft bought Minecraft. And in 2016, we have an educational version of Minecraft. So it was released in 2016. So how does it work in the classroom? So using Minecraft, using technology through gaming in the classroom, how does it work? So the EduCraftas model is pretty self-explanatory and very simple, but it works. So first of all, they help teachers to learn and navigate through Minecraft game. And they also create formal or non-formal content for schools. And teacher becomes like a facilitator in the classroom. He still has all the power when everyone is in Minecraft and playing the game. He still has all the power to stop and then say, now we have to reflect. So he's still being a teacher, but everything is in this called sandbox, or in this Minecraft world that kids love so much. So a quick example on how the lesson looks like. So students, for example, in 1st or 2nd grade, this is a real example, by the way. So they are learning about nature objects in Lithuania. So this world that is created through Minecraft is in Lithuania, and it's about Lithuanian wilderness, and the kids are actually in that game, and they're learning different types of forests, lakes, and rivers. So they're walking through all of these wilderness objects. And at the end, the teacher can ask, so what did you visit? What have you learned? What sort of rivers did you see? And then the kids can reflect and tell their story on how they actually learned some wilderness objects in Lithuania. So it's a pretty cool thing. And when we think about opportunities through this simple technology of using games in the classroom, using Minecraft, so obviously this slide shows that Vilnius has been recreated through Minecraft. And just imagine being in I don't know, 2nd form, 3rd form, or 4th, whichever, and you're learning about 1800s in Vilnius. So you can actually create 1800s Vilnius and then go into that 1800s Vilnius and learn about how it was back in that day. So this is, old Vilnius created, and then on the right, you can see the top right, you can see the Vilnius as it is now. So it's such a simple thing, but it's such a cool thing to use games in education. And many different research shows that it works. The kids are more engaged. And so I encourage, if any teachers are listening, I encourage to try technology in various different forms. There are people who can help you to navigate through these platforms. So just try it. It's a pretty cool thing. So finishing the presentation, I would just like to quickly go through the goals that we have in EdTech Lithuania. So we want to make Lithuania an attractive place for edtechs and education innovators. We are welcoming to the new members, and we will try our best to help you and support you through the process of creating an edtech that's working. We want to create a change with the Lithuanian, within the Lithuanian education system through our edtechs. So we are closely working with schools and we want to work even more with them just to have this loop cycle of trying new edtechs and see if they can actually make an impact on the kids and on the teachers. And of course, we want to promote EdTech Lithuania and help grow the members globally. So these are the people behind the EdTech Lithuania for now. These are the people who helped to create EdTech Lithuania. So big thanks to Vladas Lašas, Aušra Kukelkaitė, Monika Katkutė, Edgaras Jasalinis, Tamo Group CEO, Angelika Rustikienė from Junior Achievement, Ginvila and Danielius from BidDegree. So these are the people behind the EdTech Lithuania. That's it for me. Thank you for listening. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Let's chat on Facebook and join the EdTech community. I'm very happy to talk to you guys, and all the best with the edtechs that you're going to create. I'm looking forward to actually listening to all the ideas that you will have, and yeah, very excited. So have a good and productive week.
Thank you so much, Šarūnas, for your presentation. We do have a few questions that I'd like to just direct to you. One of them is, EdTech Lithuania is an umbrella initiative. Can any purpose-driven or education startup join it?
Of course, we are actually growing now, and we want to grow the community as well. So everybody's welcome to talk at first and then join the community second.
Amazing. Another question comes from me, and if you had the chance to apply just one piece of innovation to all of the schools and universities, that would be super exciting, or you see yourself as a very exciting, what that would be?
Probably using computer games. I recently did a radio show with 3 gamers, and I talked to them about games, and I mean, everything that you know, this huge industry is bringing is just amazing, and so many opportunities when you think about gaming, and the kids love it, and you can, in so many ways, you can use gaming in education. So I would probably choose just using various different games to somehow teach the formal curriculum.
Amazing. Education can and should be entertainment, right?
Of course, I think it is. I mean, I love learning, but you know, that's me. But you know, everyone has their own approach on learning, and what we can see through, like, example like EduCraftas, I mean, learning using games just works so well with kids. So it should be gamified. Not everything, of course, it's not just games and fun, but if you get someone interested in, you know, in education, then that's it. You just won. So someone has their full attention, someone's being mindful to the lesson, someone's being completely in, and I think that's incredible. So that's where we should aim.
Okay, and last question from me. So Šarūnas, what would be your one piece of advice for all the teams that will be working for 6 straight days?
I kind of feel like I have many things to say, but I want to
okay, 3 things, it's fine, we still have time.
I think just if you believe in this idea, just really go for it. Even if it sounds a little bit crazy, I would encourage you to go for it. Think about the problem first. So idea is okay, but if you think about the problem that you want to solve, this is when it becomes realistic. So be crazy, but then have the second thing of think about the problem that you want to solve. And same as for the kids in school, have fun. If you're not having fun, then you're not probably gonna commit those hours. If you're not excited, you're not gonna, commit all these hours that is needed for such a thing. So have fun.
Thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Šarūnas Dignaitis. Šarūnas, thank you once again for your inspiration and for the answers.
My pleasure.
And as for our opening event, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with the first part of our event. Now we will have a short 15 minutes break, grab a drink, stretch your legs, and come back pretty soon, because then we will be able to showcase all of the amazing challenges that the teams have registered and they want to build during this week. So stay tuned for more. We are coming back shortly. So welcome back, everyone, to the EdTech Hackathon 2021, brought to you by Vilniaus University and Western Union Lithuania. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to remind you that it is my pleasure to participate in such occasion together with you for 6 straight days. Wherever are you connecting from? Hackathons are built hackathons are there to build solutions, right? So let's move to our second part of this amazing opening event, and let's speak about what will be happening during the next 6 days. We did already mention it before. Due to the pandemic, 1/3 of the students had impaired results in distant learning. Also, more than 1,000 of teachers are considering leaving their occupation. And that brings us only to a part of the solutions or challenges or issues that the education has to fight today. I'm super excited to announce that today we have more than 109 participants from 13 different countries registered and participating in this hackathon. And they are willing to solve those challenges. The goal of this hackathon is to identify various educational challenges, build or develop a solution that would fit and bring, of course, a positive change. We at this hackathon organizing committee truly believe that the MVPs that will be developed during the 6 days of hackathon and will be pitched to the jury on Sunday evening will get funded to continue with the development at scale. But that's not it. The best teams, of course, will be awarded with prizes. Oh yes, prizes. Everyone, we have 6,000 euros prize pool. So the third place will get a 1,000 euro prize from Guidehouse. The second place will be awarded by 2,000 euros prize from Guidehouse, and 3,000 euros will be directed to the winners and game changers in education. And this prize will be given by the other sponsor, Transcom. Also, one more prize is 6 months of virtual office and company establishment support from Sunrise Valley Science and Technology Park. Cool, right? But we believe that you do know that the most important award will be the continuation of your developed idea, and of course, the possibility to actually bring a real change to the ecosystem. Yes. Also, we are super happy that all the participants will be mentored by 16 brilliant mentors. And of course, thank you in advance to our jury that will be participating this Sunday. So now it's time to look at the open stage with 17 different future solutions. Listen carefully, everyone, because if you find one you like, you can always join the team. At this hackathon, in the beginning, I would like to also mention that we truly value the impact that we can bring. So we do have a team or a challenge that comes directly from the Lithuanian educational sector and is presented by the Ukmergė City Educational Support Service Agency. All eyes on the screen.
Special needs for special conditions. This is the name of our idea. Our, in this case, means Ukmergės švietimo pagalbos tarnyba that want to be the leader in a field of challenges. We are not going to wait for directions. We want to take actions now. All we seek is to provide better learning conditions for students with special needs, online or hybrid. Learning is comprehensive, with its own advantages and disadvantages. Usually softwares used by schools are a way too complicated for students with special needs. Simplicity and availability support the here and now, as well as a feeling of success. This is what they need. And we need 3 buttons, only 3 buttons to make it work. Can you help us to design it? We are looking for user experience specialists, for designers, developers, and programmers. For everyone, want to put a smile on every child's face. Is this challenge accepted?
So, there everyone, we strongly encourage to look at this challenge and actually to jump in on the creating solution. And now it's time also to showcase everyone the other 16 amazing ideas that will be developed during this amazing EdTech 2021 hackathon. Let's begin with the first one and let's see all of them at once.
Hello, we're the Years Squad. Hybrid learning is a new way of education that may stay with us even after the pandemic. To make it work smoothly, we need to eliminate the contrast between students who attend classes online and those who attend physically. In order to raise the efficiency of e-learning, we need to increase the number of possibilities for e-students to be involved. Our idea is to create a pop-up-based platform. Teacher could set different questions that would be related to the class's topic. These questions would appear randomly during the lesson. A student could gain points by answering them and participating in other features that this app would offer. Also, their results would have a direct impact on their grade. This way, students would be always motivated to stay aware during lessons. The Years Squad would love to see more members joining our idea, especially those who are strong in IT, graphic design sphere, and app creation. Join us.
Yo, what's up? My idea's name is Mokomo. I'm Davidas Van Gogh, business/English teacher and full stack developer. We're trying to solve the problem of motivation while being at home and trying to study on your own. Procrastination was a real problem already way before Corona and way before all this hybrid learning came into place. It got so much worse now that we've got to solve that. And we are trying to do that by bringing in study groups, adding an element of Pomodoro on it, and bringing it all into a gamified online platform. If you think that sounds awesome and you would like to bring up some value to the table and would like to team up, yo, just hit me up. I'm always open for suggestions and for teammates. And if not, well, see you on Sunday. Bye.
Hello, my name is Marina. I'm an English teacher and a filmmaker. My project is Correct English, online English course where grammar topics are presented through algorithms. The problem with studying languages online and in schools is that students get superficial understanding of languages. They don't really understand it, they just apply rules that they automatically memorized. Correct English course gives core understanding of the language and the way it is structured. Imagine if we solve this problem with automatic memorization. Not only will we get better English speakers, but also better learners. Think about it. Once you embrace the approach, it changes the way you analyze and consume new information. Moreover, in the long run, my project can be scaled to other languages and other fields of study. To fully develop my project, I'm looking for web designers and marketers. Thank you, and let's make language learning process exciting.
We're a team of EdTech enthusiasts willing to bring innovation for our education. During the past few years, pandemic has forced us to rethink and reshape the way we approach our study process and move into remote study environment. Home environment for studying has proven to be more challenging than expected as well as distractive. Moving towards a hybrid way of learning solves only half of the attention problem, the one that is sitting in the classroom. And it becomes harder for teachers to track students' attention span when they are on the other side of the screen. We believe that by observing student attention and measuring it, we will be able to provide deeper insight for the teachers about their own study material. With doing this, future classes won't be focused solely on delivering information, instead will be focused on quality and interaction between teachers and students based on AI solution. In order to achieve it, we're inviting you to fill one of these crucial gaps.
Hi, I'm a founder founder of Tabula Rasa, and my name, of course, is Rasa. Tabula Rasa is an online marketplace for Lithuanian teachers to share their digital learning materials. This platform has a background of my personal experience in education as a teacher, tutor, and lecturer. What about the problem Tabula Rasa can solve? It's the lack of Lithuanian digital and modern learning materials. Okay, who can create those materials? Of course, our teachers. They are doing it every day in their class. But how to share those materials around the country 24/7? I want to help them, and I decided to create the most comfortable and reliable marketplace in the internet for our teachers, with an opportunity to earn extra money. Sharing is caring. It's the main idea of Tabula Rasa business model. If you think the same, so don't hesitate to join this idea, especially if you have marketing, business development, or IT skills.
We're a team of students from Kaunas University of Technology called Give to the Gods.
And we have an idea and an ambition to follow through. It's called the thermometer.
What if you could check who's actually participating in the lesson from their homes and how well they understand the material, all without shifting your attention away from the pupils in front of you?
Our tool would enable teachers to do just that. According to many students, one of the main problems of distance learning is that they simply cannot find the motivation to focus during classes and participate in them.
Especially if the teacher does not demand cameras be turned on. We hope to increase student participation via short quizzes by collecting participants' names and give a broader view of their understanding of the current topic, which would enable the teachers to feel the temperature of the class just a little bit better.
Hello, EdTech Hackathon. It's Sina from Team Phoenix. As we know, one of the main challenges of online learning is lack of engagement, so that the students feel unmotivated, and we have come up with an app that tackles this problem. Our app has 4 main features. One of them is that it can check attendance automatically. It has an algorithm that chooses 2 random students, so that one has to ask a question and the other one has to answer that question. It provides a feature for the lecturer to hold a test or hold an exam in the app, so there will be no need to use an additional app. It also gives an opportunity to students to give their feedbacks anonymously. Also, I would like to mention that our group needs 2 more members, 1 IT specialist and also 1 graphic designer. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Monica.
And I'm Vytautas.
And we are from Hackeros team. Our team has a background in software engineering and education as well. We think that since traveling is still heavily restricted, getting hands-on communication and foreign language experience is quite difficult. So we came up with an idea that will enhance remote learning possibilities by making use of latest achievements in AI field.
Our solution will connect students who want to improve their foreign language skills in a video chat. Each session will have a customized topic, hints, points to discuss, and our system will automatically check conversation for grammar and style errors. It's almost like a chat roulette, Duolingo, and Grammarly combined. We see our platform not only as a learning tool, but also as a key that unlocks connections across the globe.
So see you soon.
See you soon.
Hi, we're a team in Foreign Games, and we're building an educational games platform that will teach you about various forms of disinformation and will help you to build cognitive immunity against it. We believe that games are the best and most engaging way for training skills, and disinformation has become an increasingly problematic subject that threatens our personal and national security and also our democracy. So we think that this needs to be addressed and we see no reason why it can't be taught at schools. There are currently 3 people in the team. It's me, Adele, and also Linas and Vitas, who are our developers. So if you are a developer, a designer, UX specialist, or content creator, and you share similar views, please join our team and let's participate in this hackathon together.
Hello everyone, I'm Gultan and I'm representing InSkills team. Well, first of all, I would like to start with a very short question that do you actually know how long it takes a person not to lose an attention while learning something new from the very scratch? Well, let me tell you, it's 15 minutes and sometimes it's 20, which is not that good, right? So at InSkills, we came up with a solution of building educational board games. So people can go to the website, build their own educational board games or play educational board games from the different topics. And they can learn whatever they want. And they can also actually learn it in a very useful, fun, and interactive way. We're a team of 6 people. We have developers from Swedbank, we have product managers from Nordea, from Bold. We also have EdTech scientists from the universities. So thank you for your attention.
Hi, we are iSpeak, a video streaming solution for giving peace of mind to teachers in the hybrid world. After talking to teachers and students, we found out that the hardest thing is the cognitive load of having to handle many things happening at the same time and just not knowing which window to start looking at when I'm delivering a lesson. With a mix of low-cost hardware and a video streaming platform, we're going to be able to let the teachers be themselves while stop caring about all the noise that is created by technology that is thought for a total different purpose. By just using a camera that will follow the teacher and let them move in a very tranquil manner through the room, and using a cell phone as a remote to engage with the entire audience, whether they're here or they're at home, teachers will be able to accomplish that and become more effective. We are a team of tech and education enthusiasts, and we are looking for a Flutter developer that can help us speed things up. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Audrius Ramoška, representing Saverio team at Edtech Hackathon. Our idea for this hackathon is to create a solution that will allow issuing a digital and verifiable copy of education diploma. In a hybrid learning environment, demand to prove your education digitally, not just a paper-based diploma, becomes an essential need. Currently, proving your education remotely in a secure and efficient way is an issue. The solution prototype we are planning to create will eliminate this issue and allow hybrid learning providers to help students prove their education in a proper digital way. Thank you.
Hello everybody, this is me, Mohammed Gamal, and I am here to present to you EduProfile team. EduProfile team consists of me and Abraham. We both study human-computer interaction at Tallinn University. We both have good experience in computer and education. In our era in online education, there is one problem regarding communication online. There is no one application which helps students to communicate with each other inside the class effectively. And there is no one application which helps students to communicate with each other outside of their class. So we are here to develop an application which provides students with an online, interactive, central application which helps students to communicate with each other inside their class and outside of their class, nationally and internationally. And the team right now is quite full, but everyone who may help is welcome. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm David Zagarian, a proud engineer with 10 years of experience in industrial automation, hardware and software development. Within these years, we continuously faced with a huge problem by supervising tech students in our engineering company. About 90% of students could not implement in a practice the theory that they earned in educational institution, and no idea how the education content is connected with the industry. Do you know that statistically 80% of STEM students they are kinesthetic learners? Taking into account above mentioned problem, we made a decision to develop a special education trainer kit just for our internal youth. That will help our company interns to conduct experiments, time-engaging experiments, understand the fundamentals of the physics and electronics, to connect theory with practice. And do you know what? It works. Students become more and more engaged and interested in their professions. This successful practice made us think about extending the idea, making it available for larger audience. So PinoKit was born. It is first is a word complete subject-based learning trainer kit for science, engineering, and math students powered by the Raspberry Pi, the most selling educational platform. No PC and other external tools are required. You just need to connect it to the monitor and bingo. Only one teaching platform includes learning software, hardware, trainer curriculum in one set. You can easily plug and play same Raspberry Pi to the other PinoKit trainer kits. Affordable, up to 3 times. It means you can cover 3 times more students. I'm sure together we will make STEM education attractive, real life connected, and we shape future scientist generation today. With the help of PinoKit, let's empower classroom with affordable, super functional technologies. Thank you.
I would like to present you EdLink, a digital platform connecting global learners to apply theory through solving real-world problems designed to cultivate students' voice, strategic thinking, and collaborative problem solving. One of the biggest issues of the current education system is that it doesn't exercise the higher order thinking skills, such as complex problem solving, creativity, or collaboration. And in the ever-changing, technology-driven world, these are some of the most important skills to thrive in the 21st century. But right now in our schools, we're getting predefined problems with predefined solutions that are completely different from what we face in the real world. My name is Laida, and I work in education program development and workshop facilitation for soft skills, and I'm looking for people that do believe in solving this problem, especially that have skills in software development, marketing, and business development. Thank you so much, and have a great day ahead.
Hi, my name is Mantas Vyčis, and I'm the CEO of FeedRight. Our passionate team is dedicated to help school students build a solid foundation for future academic success. We do this by creating a personalized math learning platform called EdLicėjus. Personalization has always been the ultimate method of teaching, and with the technology available to us nowadays, it is possible to make it more engaging, accurate, and scalable like never before. I and my team are super excited to tell you more about our idea in the following days and to bring to you the renaissance of education.
This is it, 17 amazing ideas, challenges, and teams to join. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wrap up. We're very excited to have so many of you participating in this EdTech Hackathon 2021, presented to you by the Vilniaus University Business School and Western Union Lithuania. Just to remind you, we will be having 6 full days of action. Please use your chance to participate in our content part. We will be having panel discussions, keynote speeches for 4 straight days, every day in the evening in a very comfortable timing for you. Also, never forget to network, find partners, and build a successful solution together, because we're here for a reason. We do want to make a better future. All the details for this hackathon and all of the events can always be found on our website, vuhackathon.lt. Also, all the participants, the registered participants, will get the information, of course, on the event Slack channel and obviously by the emails. If you have more questions, you can always approach any of the team members of the organizing committee. And for the very, very, very end, once again, please give it up for our sponsors. Main sponsor of this hackathon, Western Union Lithuania. Also, our sponsors and supporters, Transcom, Guidehouse, City of Vilnius, Vilnius Educational Improvement Center, Sunrise Valley Science and Technology Park, EdTech Lithuania, Startup Lithuania, and our communication partner, 15 Minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it, but it's only the beginning. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found something interesting to write down. You were inspired by the presentations, and you're searching for a click button to actually join this amazing event that will be happening for 6 straight days. So don't forget to jump into the panel discussions and keynote speeches. And if you really are interested in what will be created, so stay tuned for Sunday, because the very important final will be happening this Sunday. And once again, you will be able to participate in many ways. So thank you again. Good luck for everyone who is building the solutions. And of course, for all the registrants, now we switch to the other Zoom, where we will have a bit more of details about this hackathon. And for everyone else, thank you again and see you soon.